Media.com for more great podcasts.
Welcome to Dig on America, where we speak truth to power. Every week, we give you the dig on how American history, policies, and media created the social and political issues we face today. DOA is independent media supported by listeners, but they'll tell you we're just fake news, deep state propaganda, funded by George Soros, the Clinton Foundation, BLM Marxists, and
Fozzie Bear.
Obviously Piccolo. The first black anime character. Y'all can fight me for
I thought
it.
he was green.
Yeah, but he acted black. And we counted him as us. And he raised some loser dude's kid. I'm like, oh, he can't be blacker. Super disciplined. Stretchy ligaments.
Way over my head.
The answer's up.
Mine too. But Swede, you want to throw a sponsor at us today? No, he does not. Okay, so moving on with the show. Welcome everybody.
Wait. I'd like to change my answer.
All right.
RoboCop.
Oh, I mean, come on. Everybody already. Who didn't know that already? Everyone knew that. That was already.
I would say the reincarnation of Vladimir Lenin.
Ooh, foreshadowing. Look at
or John Lennon. Or
He's dead?
both. Both of the Lennons.
The love child of the two Lennons.
Oh no.
Yeah. Which would be
Patrick Mahomes lemon pepper.
Oh, wait. Look at this.
Today's show is brought to you by Patrick Mahomes' little brother.
Look who's here. Welcome in, Big Hot. So welcome everybody to Dig on America. This is Jason Dutch. I am here with these two clowns, Big Haas and Mikey Famine.
I was about to say, don't talk about our guests that way.
Oh.
And our special co-host today, back again, friend of the show.
Hold on.
The Irish Swede.
Dutch. You got to call him the co-host with the co-most.
The co-host with the
Co-host with the compost? What?
Co-host with the co-most. That's a shout out to the dearly departed Guru from Gangstar.
Okay. I didn't know Guru.
Those are some words.
I didn't know that he was dead. Did he die recently? No.
Oh my
God. Look at this. I don't know random person is dead. Therefore,
he's not random. That's one of the linchpins of hip hop.
Guru has not been in the public eye for 20 years.
You must be out your damn. You gonna get your hip hop card pulled.
You know, Mikey, I was a rapper, so don't ever try to check me when it comes to hip hop history.
Come on, man.
Who's the mortal technique?
Tracking the deaths of musicians is like tracking the deaths of WWF stars.
Except for it wasn't a murder suicide. He just died.
I didn't say that it was a murder suicide.
Well, a lot of these WWF superstars, man, that CTE is real.
Get out if you can.
Just Chris Benoit is the only one I'm aware of. But
Eddie Guerrero
I still miss Chris Cornell.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Now that one I knew about.
I'm sorry, Rev.
That's okay. I'm gonna have to start coming on with you guys more often. This is fun.
Well, let's introduce the Reverend.
I'm over here cursing. I'm like, wait a minute, the good Reverend Doctor is in the house.
You're good. I won't throw any oil at you, I promise.
All right.
We don't believe you for a second. So with us today is Reverend Darrius Butler. He is running for Congress in Georgia's 8th district. So welcome in to Dig on America.
Glad to be here, man. I'm loving it. I'm coming back.
Good.
Well, we haven't invited you back yet, but so far you're
coming during space.
Yeah.
See,
you're off
You see
how he do the black people of the clergy.
It's gonna be a running theme with Dutch.
The white people can come back whenever they want. Yes, ain't been here for 30 seconds. Like, well, you weren't invited back.
Well,
we haven't decided if you're one of the good ones yet.
Exactly.
I already have 2 tokens, so
right.
I don't like being outnumbered.
Have we reached the limit? Have we reached the limit here?
The quota has been squelched.
We've only got room for one guy with that can make a man bun.
Due to city ordinance, ordinance says only 3 African Americans in each room at each time.
Gotcha.
So just got to make sure that we clear the air there. Reverend,
Yes.
we'll just jump right into it. We like to start out each show by getting to know you a little bit. So we'll ask you a little bit about your campaign, but before we do that, let's get to know the real you. We'll start out by calling an audible.
Okay.
21, 19, Georgia.
Oh my God.
Babies' lives matter. Said, hut.
That's right.
All right. So
Hold on. I got a great idea. Okay, so here's how you can get your hip hop card back. For all your audibles, you got to make hip hop references in the audibles for the city that the people are, or the state that the people are from.
It can't be third base. It can't be snow.
Welcome to the show, Southern Playalistic Cadillac Funky Butler. Okay.
Okay.
That was
Wait a minute. I don't think you're going in the right direction. Wait a minute.
Wait, I was like 25, 37, Spotty Adidopalicious, Hud Hike. Like, that's what I was thinking.
Right.
But what was you talking about?
I know what he's talking about.
I don't know how you don't know that. How do you not know Southern Playalistic Cadillac Funky music? And they are from Atlanta, I believe. So College Park,
funky music.
Yeah, College Park, Decatur,
right.
DeVry.
Give me the song. Let me hear it one more time. Give me the song.
Southern Playalistic Cadillac Funky music.
Come on, baby.
Play
5
it
mics.
if you
5
choose it.
mics in the source.
You better be sure you don't abuse it. We're gonna get you.
Way over my
What?
head. I mean, that's way over my head.
Oh, come on. You got to know Outkast's first album.
Oh, absolutely not. No. Anything
You
prior
been a Reverend
to
that long?
anything. Yes, I've been a Reverend that long. Anything prior to spaceships on Bankhead is just totally it's out of my loop. I can't do it.
Hey, you must be young.
That's from AT Aliens.
AT Aliens, yes. If it's prior to AT Aliens, I can't do
Oh,
it.
you got to do yourself a favor and listen to Southern Playlist of Cadillac music. 5 mics in the source. You probably so young you don't remember the source.
They're
Go ahead and add that to the playlist right now. Just so, mind you, people are texting me talking about some who. So these are other people who did not know where in the world you guys are.
This younger generation, I tell you.
See,
Hey,
well,
but
come on. If Flow State knew and you didn't, all right. Anyway,
4 down territory.
yeah. So what we'll do is we'll ask you 4 questions. You will give us 4 answers. These are generally non-political questions. I'm definitely not going with Big Haas first.
You can go with me first.
So tell me your philosophy on lollipop eating.
That's not even where I'm going.
That's disrespectful.
See, this like a relationship. I'm throwing you curveballs to keep you interested.
All right, go ahead, Haas.
That's important.
Okay. So
You
in
don't
your,
wanna
secular,
run
in your secular life,
Okay.
before you
Back
became a
Before I
reverend,
got saved. Okay.
before you clense yourself in the waters of Lake Minnetonka.
That's right. In River Jordan. I was in the River
All right,
Jordan.
what were you? What were you before? What describe Darrius Butler before he became Reverend Darrius Butler? Was he a rabble rouser? Were you one of those incorrigible urchins, or were you pretty straight laced before you came into the?
I'm about to really ruin your night because I actually started preaching when I was really young. So prior to this, I was young. I started when I was really young.
What's really young? Come on, man. Elaborate. We got time.
Let me think. I gave my first sermon when I was about 11 or 12.
Okay.
That was the
so
first.
Were you the guy though in 4th and 5th grade that was Mr. Talkative getting check marks for performance and stuff?
Oh, let me tell you, it was so bad they kicked me out of the classroom. And I mean, I spent my whole 3rd and 4th grade year in the guidance counselor's office because they said I wouldn't stop talking to the other kids.
Your calling was already preordained.
It was already preordained.
It was already there. You're gonna be a motivational speaker or a reverend, which is basically a motivational speaker anyway.
Exactly.
The Reverend saved the doctor right after he was born. Doctor came in and said, "Hallelujah, doctor."
That's exactly what happened too.
He had a come to Jesus moment right there in the hospital.
Newborn. He was crying in the doctor's office
I was speaking in tongues when I came out.
He was like, y'all don't hear me. I wish I had some milk in the house.
Can we pass the cereal plate?
Right. That's right.
He over there with a gusher, just anointing the gusher juice on,
rubbing
on
everybody's forehead
to laying hands at the
Save that diaper. This is holy water.
Shundake.
All right, Mikey, you're up.
We got to find his nerd side.
Okay.
So if you had to choose complete bodies of work, you only get one: Marvel or DC.
No question, Marvel.
Good answer.
No question.
Good answer.
No question. I think, and don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. As a kid, I was a huge DC fan. I know you guys are gonna love this. I loved the Green Lantern, John Stewart. I loved Static Shock. You know, I enjoyed those. You're so funny. I enjoyed them. And I feel like DC dropped the ball. They have just dropped the ball, because I would love to be a diehard DC fan, but Marvel has just taken it and made it their own.
DC is the Democrats of the
well, Swede, you get a question right now. I will say this: the early reviews on the Batman are that it's sensational.
I'm excited. I am excited to see. And Swede, you asked about cartoons. So what was your question?
Well, but you were saying that the Marvel over DC. Well, DC is famous for the cartoons being way better than
the movies,
any other genre.
I'll give you that.
So
I will give you
I was
that.
wondering if you had a carve out for the cartoon universe.
Yes, for the cartoon universe, no doubt about it. Actually, just maybe about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I actually binge watched, consistently, or sporadically binge watch all of the Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, just to kind of rethrow myself into it.
It's so good.
Their animation is
the best.
Absurd.
It's the best.
Yeah.
That 90s era Batman and Justice League.
Yes.
That holds up, and that's from, what is it, 30 years ago.
30 years ago, yes.
And that could be on today and people would still watch it.
So
we stream it. Ooh.
Better Joker, Mark Hamill or Ledger?
Ooh, that's hard. That's hard.
That's a good question, Swede.
Excellent, Swede. Excellent. Do it. Ask him the question.
That's hard, because Mark Hamill he's
phenomenal.
He is the GOAT.
He is the Joker as far as I'm concerned.
Exactly.
But it's
the
not
Joker I grew up with.
That's hard. That's really hard. I'm gonna go with Hamill because he's the GOAT. But that is hard. I want you to know that's probably the hardest question I'm going to be asked all night.
Yeah, Heath Ledger supplanted in the movies. He supplanted my pick at Jack Nicholson was the Joker for me.
Yeah,
but when Heath Ledger, that I was like, this dude.
Well, let's not take away from Joaquin Phoenix though, too.
I didn't see the Joker.
I saw it. He was good.
Different Joker-ish, but
I can't find myself
tortured Joker.
I can't find myself in the I still haven't seen it yet, and I've heard so much this is about it.
He was great.
There's I can't turn it on because I want the new movie experience, but now that I kind of got all this it's a little too heavy. Oh, it talks about a lot of trauma and stuff like that. I'm like, I don't really want to watch a trauma movie tonight.
It is heavy.
You know what I mean? Now in my head it's a heavy movie, and it's like, yo, man, I just ate this edible. I'm trying to I'm trying to chill. I got
it's Taxi Driver.
I got barbecue chips and lemonade. I'm about to be so good in half an hour. Do I want to spend that time with Joaquin Phoenix in a trauma movie? I don't know.
That'll kind of get your mood down.
Yeah, man.
It is not a happy movie.
I don't want to watch it now because now I know it's unhappy, and I don't want to. The rest of the world sucks. I don't want to watch this movie.
But can I just say?
Make me sad.
Can I just say that what's the guy who played the Joker, the young guy? I cannot think of his name.
Jared Leto.
Jared Leto.
Yes, Leto. Now I'm actually really excited, and I kind of hope that they do continue the Snyderverse because I'm excited to see that version of the Joker, just to kind of see where he goes with it.
I agree with that. I think
he's gotten better in the role as I've seen him more.
Yeah, and the stuff they say, and we've never seen this. It wasn't even in the Snyder cut. They say there's over an hour of cut Joker footage from that movie where he's quite good, but that it didn't fit with the Snyder cut, and then it also and what's his face, Josh Whedon, just didn't use it. Yeah, just threw it away.
Can I just go ahead and be very controversial here and just say that I really think that whether it was the Snyder cut or Josh Whedon's, coming in at the tail end to fix everything, I think both of the Justice League's movies were just terrible. I mean,
awful. You didn't like the Snyder cut either?
No, I didn't, because to me, I guess it would have been better if they would have if Martian Manhunter could have been more involved, and if, for example, we could have gotten more of a concise story. I like that they added, Deathstroke, not Deathstroke. Oh God,
Chris Cross.
Who?
They did add Deathstroke at the end to some more scenes. So I don't know.
Not Deathstroke, but what's his name?
Homelander.
No, the one. Who is Superman's his arch enemy? Not Lex Luthor. Not Luthor. No.
Bizarro.
Darkseid. Brainiac.
Darkseid. There we go. Darkseid.
Yeah.
I love
Dark Seed. Is it Darkseid or Dark Seed?
I believe it's Dark. It's Darkseid, but it's spelled Seed. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I love that they added more of Darkseid to the story in the Snyder cut, but I still felt like the movie missed a lot of critical Justice League points.
Yeah.
That's fair. Well, we also had a bad taste in our mouth from the first one, but I really liked the Ray Fisher portrayal of Cyborg in that though too. He did. He did
Where's
a very
the
good
Cyborg
job.
Movie? Where's the Cyborg movie?
So that's on Ray Fisher. He refuses to work with DC until they fire a particular director or writer.
Well, then fire him and let's go. Like, what are we talking about? That movie's gonna be awesome.
Out of there.
But
February just passed. It was Black History Month. Now I gotta wait till next Black History Month because I know that's how y'all do in Hollywood. You think we only pay for our own stuff in February?
All right, my turn.
Black History came out in February.
I don't know. I'm torn on two different questions.
Okay,
just do them both. Do them both. But
okay, they're both quick. But and the first one I think you will like. So you get to spend an entire day with Patrick Stewart.
Oh God!
Okay? But you only get to spend the day with him in character of either Jean-Luc Picard or Professor X. Which do you pick?
Professor Xavier, of course, no question about it. Picard was cool. Picard was cool, but Professor X is top tier.
Wrong answer.
No.
I agree.
Where's the end stream button? This is. I will not have this.
Yeah, this
has gone to. We've gone too far.
Listen, and don't get me wrong. I love anything that Patrick Stewart is in because he is the GOAT as well.
You mean everything? Not everything.
Everything that he does is phenomenal.
He could be doing a mixtape right now, rapping.
And it would be phenomenal.
Turn up my headphones.
It would be phenomenal.
This is threats.
I'm telling you, when it comes to either Picard or Xavier, you got to go with Xavier. Because for one, think about everything the questions that you could ask him. Think about the things that you could get accomplished with Professor Xavier by your side. In just an hour, you can get a whole lot done.
You are violating the Prime Directive here. Number one, that's enough of you. So wait, real quick, I'll ask the second one.
So.
Okay.
Make it so.
Make it so. Number one.
Your pick. You get to pick who dons the mantle of Black Panther next. Do you pick Shuri or M'Baku?
Ooh.
Yo, that's racist. That's racist.
No.
Right. Or you're right. Or Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll take it. M'Baku, because exactly, because when the Black Panther disappeared, when he was dusted by Thanos, we already know that M'Baku took a leadership role in Wakanda. He already has donned the mantle of leader. Therefore, it's only fair that he comes back now, of course, because of succession and, to appease, Angela Bassett as the mother figure to say, I want my daughter to be next in line. Of course, that's the direction it's going to probably go. But M'Baku is is truly.
M'Baku walked up to Angela Bassett and said, "The king is dead. Come with me, mama."
Exactly. Like,
you're my bride now.
He's a goat. So you gotta, he's gonna take the throne. I think it makes sense.
Okay,
if he just walks in and says, "Is this your king?" I was like, he's done. He won. He got the whole room to shut up.
Now here's the next question I'd actually like to ask all of you real quick. On the idea of Black Panther,
reversal.
Instead of having Shuri or M'Baku, should they replace Chadwick Boseman and just have someone else take on the T'Challa role?
Not in this movie.
Mikey, you're thinking?
I'm fine with any of the options. M'Baku, Zuri, or a new casted, but because I refused for us to just like sit on one of the most influential movies in my lifetime, just sit on that property and not do nothing with it because we're in our feelings about it. No, the kids need more movies. We'll just have to get over it.
Right.
And we should be nice to whoever gets the damn movie.
And Charlie
tearing them apart.
We'll be
and Charlie
nice
Kirk
to them until we see them in the role. And if they screw it up, they better not screw the pooch.
Charlie Kirk will not screw it up. He'll be fantastic.
No, even if they screw it up, House, we gotta let them screw it up and embrace them, and then put that arm around their neck, like, look, bro, this dude over here speaks Swahili. You finna go get your accent together. You sound mad reckless out there. Come on now.
I love it.
All right, so we're gonna give you back the center stage here. Okay. You're running for Congress in Georgia,
right?
Why are you running? Tell us about your campaign.
Great. Now that we've gotten all the nerd stuff out the way, you guys have figured out that I am a nerd.
You've been approved. Yes.
I've been approved.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Your policy doesn't matter. You've already gotten
like we've already won the race now. I'm gonna tell you like this. I'm running.
I'm for nuclear bombing Hawaii. Go ahead.
Well,
I don't care.
Not that. They're like, hey, well, you're good. He likes DC. He likes Marvel. He's good.
And we don't live in Hawaii.
Yeah. Well, hold on. Man. It's a great vacation spot.
As long as Tulsi Gabbard is there when it happens.
Stop, Dutch. No, TOS. Nope. On the internet, just joking.
Yes,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
He's joking.
Am I?
They know you.
Stop it. What's wrong with you?
They know you're joking.
Down, Dutch. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Rev.
Did you have to really mute him? I love it.
No, he muted himself.
I'm gonna tell you like this. I'm running because one, nobody else did. Nobody else would. We're in a situation where we have a district that has been underrepresented for 12 years, where the incumbent has had no actual challenge, has had no one to actually stand up and question him. And, I was a part of the group to go and find someone to challenge him. And everybody said, no. And finally, I was like, well, damn, I guess I'll do it. So I'm running not out of my own vanity of saying, oh, I'm the best person for the job, because that's just not true. There are a lot of, I'm sure, more capable people out there in the world. But I am able to say that I'm the person that stood up and said, well, by golly, I'm going to make this thing happen. We've got these roads that need to be fixed. We've had these schools that need to be funded. We have these families who can't afford to get food. They're still under the poverty line. They lost the tax break, the child tax credit. Their health care is crazy. We've lost 10 hospitals in the state of Georgia over the last 10 years. There's a lot of things that need to get done that's not getting done. There are people in my district who have to drive 2 hours to get to a hospital or medical center. Now, just think about this. You having a heart attack and you got to take a 2-hour drive. And if not a 2-hour drive, you have to wait for a helicopter and we only have 5. That's a problem. That's a problem. So that's why I'm running. I'm running because, and excuse my French here, but shit's got to change. We've got to fix the problem.
Take your time, Rev. Take your time.
Yeah.
Don't start me.
Well, and the current, if I remember correct, if I'm correct, it's Scott Austin or Austin Scott.
Right.
Is you could probably call him Scott Austin. That'd work too.
He's got 2 first names. You can't trust him.
Yeah, his middle name is probably Brad.
Right. Probably.
Yeah, but so he
Why are you hating?
Was an insurrection instigator and one of the guys who tried to overturn all of the election votes. So
we got to get him out of there. We got to act like James Bond and hit eject on him.
Yeah, he's hiding behind the shadow of Marjorie Taylor Greene right now, but he is very much there.
Right. And
His
a lot
middle
of people
name
don't
is
understand.
Austin, by the way.
His middle
That's
name
right. It's James. James is his first name, I think.
Oh, he's
right?
got three.
James.
He's got three first name.
James
last names.
Austin.
No,
James Austin Scott. James Austin Scott.
Chaz Michael.
Oh, God dang it. Yeah, he's got to go.
It's crazy. So, yeah, no, a lot of people don't understand that. You know, we see Marjorie Taylor Greene and we see how absolutely insane she is. And a lot of people don't understand that Austin
State of the Union.
Exactly. We saw that. Like, you're heckling this man when he's talking about his dead son. Are you sick? And the problem is that, one, Austin Scott didn't even show up. Two, you know, he has the exact same ideology that Marjorie Taylor Greene has, and he's allowed to just skate through with no type of challenge. And by golly, I'm going to stand up and give him a doggone challenge.
This dude just said, by golly and doggone after saying shit.
Yeah.
I love it.
I
love it.
He's speaking from the pulpit.
He's like, I'm back in the spirit now.
I love it.
The devil grabbed a hold of me for a second, but I'm back in the spirit.
But you're back
now.
in it. I love it.
You rebel rouser.
Of the spirit.
Right. And to answer your first question as well, when you asked, I think Mikey asked this about me prior to the preaching. Outside of the preaching, I actually was a bit of a rabble rouser because I did a lot of protests and a lot of, I didn't go out and steal nothing from Target or nothing like that. But I did get out and do a lot of protests back in the day. So there's that.
Right. That's good. You got in that good trouble.
That good trouble. Yeah, it wasn't always good, but it was some trouble.
Question for you about educating your base.
Yes.
So the child tax credit was no more than people were originally going to receive anyway on their tax refunds come April or whenever they file.
Right.
How do you get people to understand that that wasn't any more additional of a handout? It was just spreading what they were going to get in a refund anyway over the course of a year to make it easier for quite a lot of people to make up for, say, monthly shortfalls.
Swede, let me tell you, man, that right there is so important. And I'm so glad that you brought that up because a lot of people do not understand that. A lot of people think that the money that was given out was money that just, oh, hey, this is the government giving you money. Plus, at the end of the year, you're still going to get you some tax refunds when that's just not the case. Just like you said, it is money that was spread out throughout the entire year. And the only way that we're going to actually get people to understand that and to get people to do it is if we actually tell them. So many people do not understand that. They don't know that. They don't know that that's a fact. And we have to do a better job of explaining to folks, hey, this is what this was. This is what this really is. It's the same thing when you think about a lot of the not just the child tax credits, but a lot of the other things that would have been done had the Build Back Better plan had been passed. And it's the same thing when people ask me, well, how are you going to pay for a lot of these ideas that you have? Well, we already have money that's in the system. Instead of, the way that we typically give it out, we need to divvy it and distribute it differently. Because that's all this really is. It really is just a difference in distribution of the funds. So it's educating folks. We live in a world where folks get on the old Twitter machine and the Facebooks and they say whatever they want to say and just put out any type of crazy narratives. But we have to combat that with good old-fashioned common sense.
There we go.
So you're talking about education a little bit here. So let me ask you this.
Okay.
One of the criticisms that I have of yesterday's speech, and I will say this, I went through and watched the speech again today, and it's weird. The second time watching it, I actually liked it 100 times better. But I still think that he missed talking about this parents' choice bullshit. And I know in your area, I don't know this, but I would suspect greatly that in your area, rural Georgia, that they really love CRT and are pining against it in the schools. What is your message when it comes to the entire CRT conversation?
Once again, it's that good old fashioned common sense. There's no CRT being taught in elementary, middle, high school. That's just not being taught. Even when I was a high school senior, I actually took African American studies, and even then, what people are saying CRT is today, I still was not taught that in African American studies as an honors student, and I had a black teacher. So for one, the things that they're saying is just totally, it's not factual. Now, the one thing that I think that we need to understand, and this is for anyone who, is uncomfortable about critical race theory or is uncomfortable about having these conversations, is that the more that you deny those conversations, the more that we pretend like things did not happen, the more hurt we are as a society. So outside of the campaigning and outside of the preaching, I'm also an amateur historian. And I love history. History is my biggest passion. It's the only thing that I felt that I could have finished in college. I love history. And when we don't talk about history, when we don't educate ourselves to what actually happened, we end up making some really dumb decisions. We end up doing a lot of dumb things. And it's funny because when we talk about history, for example, I've been having this real big discussion when it comes to what's going on in the East right now with Ukraine and Russia. And when you think about just communism, fascism, and the terminology that has changed, I think it comes from a sense of not actually knowing and understanding history. And then people just end up throwing around terms and words and ideas that they're just pulling out of their behinds, to be honest with you.
Swede, you know all about that. Everyone's a socialist, right?
Oh, you just everything is socialism, and if the government does it, it's more socialister than the socialism that the socialist did.
Right. It's crazy. It's insane. It is so insane because you have people who, I saw when the former president Donald Trump ran, right? And I was, as a young little mobilizer saying, hey, I'm going to get involved. And I traveled, around the East Coast and around, I won't say middle of the country, but, I went as far as West Virginia, went as far as Kentucky. I had a friend of mine that was living in Lexington who was running for an office at the time. And I said, I'm going to come to Kentucky. And, as we were out talking to people, and especially as him being a Democrat running, in Lexington, but then outside of Lexington, getting more deeper into the Kentucky woods, you notice how people throw around the term socialism and throw around the term communist. And honestly, I think that's the craziest thing in the world. And it just goes to show, honestly, the Republican messaging is a little bit better than Democrats, because things that have nothing to do with communism or socialism is just being thrown out as socialist. And even with Senator Bernie Sanders, I think is, when he says socialism and communism, well, mainly socialism, when he says socialist and socialist ideas and socialism, his idea of socialism, his brand of socialism is a whole lot different than the socialism of, 50 years ago. And when we don't understand history, that's when we start conflating the two and start talking about Fidel Castro.
It's amazing the effectiveness of 1950s McCarthyism propaganda still perpetuates to this day.
Yes.
And Bolshevism for that matter too.
But yeah, well, and in economic circles we call that bullshitism. Because it's not communism. I mean, if a state exists, it's not communism. The other thing is when people ask you about socialism, one thing you can always do is to look them square in the eye and go, what do you find objectionable about employees owning the business they work for?
Right.
Because that is what socialism is. That's all it is. So and that actually has started more conversations that's let more people down the path of, okay, I'm going to stop using that word. My objection is actually over here. And we start using words that actually mean what they're supposed to mean.
Exactly.
They don't like socialized things, not socialism, which are
Exactly.
two vastly different things.
Mhm. You're right. You're right.
Well,
And I
and
think
the
that's
bad part is there's. Oh no, go ahead, Reverend.
Well, no, I was just gonna, piggyback off of what you're saying and say, and it starts with just educating. But go ahead. What were we gonna say? Because I know you had something
Well,
profound.
it not really profound, but there's like even if you just use Google, there's 30 or 40 different definitions of what socialism is out there.
Right.
And a lot of times, you don't know what source you're getting that from, if it's from Prager fucking you,
Right.
or if it's from, CNN and they have a different one than like the United Socialists of America page or something like that. So there's just so much confusion out there of what socialism is. Our dig next week is going to be on fascism. That one, there's all types of different ideas on that as well, right? There's not really a consensus, clear idea of what they are, and it just causes confusion.
Palingenetic nationalism. That's what it is.
I would
Get your
suggest
socialism out of my.
Wait, Swede, say that again.
Palingenetic nationalism. PALIN genetic nationalism.
What does Sarah Palin have to do with?
See.
Probably a lot. I don't know.
But so when it comes to healthcare, if you wouldn't mind.
Sure.
Well, actually, by the way, you said you like history. I know a really good history podcast.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
Dan Carlin.
Oh, drunk history.
Yeah,
drunk history.
No,
Let
me pull back that statement. I know a semi-decent history podcast.
Oh, Dig on America. Yeah,
yes,
that's a good
you're
one.
on it right now.
Well, cool.
So, although today we're not going to do any history, but
It's all about you now. You're the history.
You'll be history soon when we tank your campaign, sir.
That's what it is. That's the new logo, the motto for the show.
Did y'all hear the Reverend say shit on that podcast?
We just go around ruining people's lives and we make them history. We just go in there, get you clipped up all crazy, saying wild stuff. Like I'll take all of your like DC comments and make them about like Armenians or something, and then like everyone will just be done with you.
Wait a minute, what's wrong with Armenians? Who doesn't like the Kardashians?
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm going to take all of your DC takes and I will just clip them and splice them together with
It's okay, Reverend. Your joke flew over our heads.
It went way over his head.
Yeah. But the so
a little high.
Yeah, that was high and outside. Of course, we won't be having baseball this year, so that's the closest thing we're gonna get to a pitch.
Yay! Because there's nothing more annoying than Cubs fans. Yay!
Except for
shut up.
Facts.
But they shut up the Cardinals fans too. Anyway,
Cardinals fans don't watch the games.
When it comes to healthcare, specifically, what I want to talk about, what I want you to talk about is when it comes to things. Obviously, they're pulling back mask mandates and all this stuff right now. Where are you at on that? Like, where are you at on like the mandate portion of the COVID conversation? Do you think it's necessary? Do you think it's unneeded? What's your opinion?
Well, that's a good hot button question. Let me tread lightly here. I'm going to be very, very honest and candid with you.
That's not lightly.
Well, you're going to see it's going to be a good version of lightly.
Okay.
I'm going to be very honest and candid with you. I am happy to know that, people are feeling comfortable and feeling happy that the pandemic is over. I'm happy that people feel that way. However, I think it's a little bit jumping the gun to say that it's over, because we are in the transitioning phase where it's factual that we are on a true downtrodden slope. We are getting to the end of this pandemic, but what we don't want to happen is for another spike to happen and then we're right back where we are a couple of months ago. So as far as the mandates go, I mean, I understand the frustration that people have, but I think we just need to implement that good old common sense to say, keep your mask on. If you feel like you're in a real crowded spot, you don't know what other people have, even if it's not COVID, you don't know what other folks have.
Man.
Keep your mask on. Keep your hand sanitizer. Wash your hands. I'm loving seeing people wash their hands 10 times a day. That makes my life very, very happy and satisfied. So I think the mandates are it's good that they're going away, but I think we as individuals need to keep that good old common sense together to say, all right, let me kind of keep myself and my family safe.
Right. And I hope, because they've already been doing this in Japan for years, and it's just culture because they've been through large pandemics before. And if they don't feel good, they stay home or they wear a mask without even, no one talks to them, no one asks them. There's like, no, that's the respectful thing to do if I'm going to be in public space with other people.
Right.
I'm still seeing nasty fools picking their nose in public, coughing all over stuff in public. I'm like, there's just something. Dutch, you're just so gross. It's always us. Like there's a cultural bug in us. There's like a flaw in the fucking programming where every time that we have the opportunity to be cool like everyone else, we get this weird bug up our ass, and then we just want to why are you picking your nose in public? Why are you coughing on your hands, touching stuff?
It itches.
Well then bring some tissue or go find some Kleenex. Open up a bag of
tissue.
Kleenex. No, it's not. It's nasty.
If God didn't want you to pick it, why did he make it fit right in there?
He don't use tissue or his sleeve.
Oh, what? It's just Americans are so nasty.
Sorry.
You missed the musical. He uses magazines. I almost said Vaseline. That was the other verse.
That was a totally different reference. Okay, yeah. See, I was totally off. I was actually thinking of something totally different, but that is not.
It went over everyone's head. That's twice on the show. We've
100%.
Yeah. All right, Haas. What question do you have, sir?
For Mr. Reverend Dr. Darrius Butler. Okay. Question for you.
Yeah.
Don't you do it this time.
What are your feelings on the equity of teaching various religions in the church? Because I know that, in schools, I know that there's a push to bring prayer back to schools and things like that. But I think, what do you feel about, because this is America and we are so diverse, if we're going to bring prayer back in school, is it going to be, are you in that camp, I guess, where it's under the narrow scope of your religion, or do we respect the diversity of the country and allow, say, Muslims that need to go pray and things like that?
Right. Let me tell you like this, and this is me as a Bible thumping person that will throw my religion down your throat. I don't think prayer needs to be in school. I don't think that it should be. I don't think. I think if it is going to be, you'll do like what my high school did. We started our own after-school Bible study. We want to talk about Jesus. After school we had a cool little Bible study. We would go in the little chorus room and sit there for about an hour. I don't think that we need to, because at the end of the day, you get in a situation like that, everybody's not a Christian. And then even if everybody was a Christian, everybody's still going to have different beliefs. Mm-hmm. And, one thing I might be praying for might not be what you're praying for. So I think really to just cut down on all of that, let's keep it separate. Keep it separate. If you want to have those types of things, do it after school, after hours. You're welcome to stay in the school building. You're welcome to go and say, hey, okay, we're going here to the lunchroom. It's after school hours. We're going to have a Bible study. We had one of the churches down the street who the pastor would come over and do, Tuesday and Wednesday night services with us. So that's, I think, the best thing to do. Now, when it comes to a lot of the students of a different faith who do need to get out, a lot of times I actually had someone in my class who, took her religion very seriously. And she would excuse herself at certain times of the day to go and, find her a quiet place and do what she needed to do. And I had no problem with that, because never once did she ever say that this needs to be something that the school needs to respect my beliefs, my ideas. Never once did she ever do that. She just let them know, hey, this is my religion. This is what I'm going to do. Please understand and respect that. And they were very accommodating to her to say, okay, cool. When that time comes, excuse yourself. She kept her mat in the what is that called? Where the guidance counselor's offices were. And it was real. She enjoyed herself. She was able to be herself, to practice her religion without anybody saying anything. And I think that that's the way to do it. I think we have a problem in our society where we scream inclusion and putting everything out there in the open. And let's just be honest, everything doesn't need to be in the open. Everything does not have to be. We don't have to have that much inclusion that we try to talk about, because a lot of people don't want that. A lot of people like their privacy. They like their moment to themselves.
I think there's two. I think that there's never not going to be prayer in school, because every time that pop quiz come up,
we start praying.
You know what I'm saying? Oh Lord, chapter 6. Oh,
that's right.
I thought we did chapter 4.
So I think that prayer never left school, because I know that there were many times whether it was when I was being bullied, and I'm like, please, Lord, don't let Hyman be out here.
That's
when
right.
I get out of school. Please.
Damn you, Hyman.
Hyman Hannon. I'll never forget him. And if I had known what a Hyman was,
you would have roasted him.
You would have roasted him.
God.
You would have took him to class, man.
I'm like, you know what your name means, boy? You over here messing with me? I might
how you got your name,
but you're gonna get this. You're gonna get this
your
emotional trauma.
Right.
now look, Hyman. You see the size of your big watermelon head? That's why your mama named you Hyman, son. Because never mind.
You know.
See, now that's one of those things that Bernie Mac said. Steve Harvey said. That's something that you should laugh at. That you had no business laughing at. That's one of the things that you were wrong for laughing at that.
If I had known then what I know now, though, he might not be bullying me very long.
No, I'm gonna make fun of that dude every week. He's gonna be my dark shadow sponsor every week, and I'm just gonna have another roast for him until he apologizes.
Hey, if you out there, dude, I know that hurt people. I forgive you, but
nah, you forget these jokes though.
I'll never forget you, man.
Forget these jokes though.
Chasing me around.
I bet you he tunes in every week.
Yeah.
He's like, one day I'm gonna apologize.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm gonna apologize next week.
Yeah.
Just
like when they start that diet. Just like when they start their diet. I'm gonna start.
Right. Every Monday, that's when it starts. So yeah, every Monday he'll apologize.
It's a new week's revolution. Resolution. Resolution.
Exactly.
So I want to ask you a question. So you're a man of strong faith. How do you? And we kind of talked a little bit about this before the show when it was just the two of us in here.
I know that one.
I never heard that song before. What is that?
Finally, one that didn't go over everyone's head.
Is that Justin Bieber?
Yes. It was Hanson.
Oh.
And in fact, I saw there was a side note. There was a TikTok video I saw the other day where a mom had given, and I'm wearing a Nirvana shirt. A mom had given her daughter, like her teen daughter, a Nirvana shirt, but instead of Nirvana on the shirt, it had a picture. It said Nirvana, but on the picture was Hanson, the group. And she was wearing it. She was wearing it like all day, and people were looking at her weird. And then there was this. It was a funny TikTok video of like her mom telling her that there was a gag shirt.
Yeah.
And like she's like, "You're such an asshole." But this is not a gag shirt. But
it's not a gag shirt.
How do you get go into the you can't be a Christian and a Democrat conversation?
Ooh, I tell them I am. I say, that's insane to say, because a lot of people do feel that way. A lot of people in some demented, twisted light believe that Democrats are out here eating babies and having.
That's the atheist. Thank you very much.
Yeah, well, wait, hold on. Wait a minute.
They're the baby eaters.
The baby eaters. Wait a minute.
We've been dealing with that one for a while.
You missed the pre-show buffet.
Did y'all see on that show when Reverend Butler said that atheists eat babies?
It's like, wait a minute. We don't want to offend the atheists here.
I know he was speaking the truth too. Woo.
I told you.
Wait a minute.
2 Corinthians 2:21.
He said 2 Corinthians. I hate you.
Chapter 88.
Reverend with us on the QAnon.
On the QAnon. Oh God. No,
Quoting Sam Jackson, Ezekiel 42:12, the path of the righteous man.
That's right.
Oh.
You got to follow it. You got to follow it. You know, a lot of people say that crap. They say you can't be a Democrat and be a Christian. I think that's insane. I think we've gotten in such a hyper partisan world where people really believe this crap. They really believe, like Democrats out here eating babies and having, springs. How they live long? They drink the blood. What?
Yeah, they got the brain
stem
cells.
It's the
Yeah,
stem
the
cells.
Oh God.
stem brains.
They seem to forget that it's half Democrats at the prayer breakfast every year.
Exactly.
Forever.
Exactly. And I think it's to me, and I won't say this is a problem today because it's been a problem definitely since the late 70s, where religion
Jerry curls
has taken Jerry curls, exactly.
I'm glad I hadn't sipped yet. I'm glad.
God damn it! I thought I had.
There
him.
were 2 Jerrys wrong. There were 2 wrongs done in the late 70s, both named Jerry. One Falwell, the other Curl.
Have y'all, Angela again? Have y'all seen these reports that Jerry Lewis was some sort of pedophile or something?
What?
No.
I saw that. I saw that passing.
Wait a minute, Jerry Lewis. That's
the
he's
comedian,
married
The the charity comedian guy, the Jerry Lewis.
the Jerry Lewis telethon.
You know what? I'm thinking about Jerry Lee Lewis, the one who married his.
He married his first cousin.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Gross.
Jerry Lee Lewis and
Jerry
Jerry
Seinfeld.
Jerry's,
As long as it's not Jerry
what's
Springer.
up with these damn Jerrys, man? I don't know.
Jerry.
Also related to Jerry Springer. That was
Jerry
the year
Springer.
that Jerry Springer was the mayor of Cincinnati.
He's the perpetual sponsor of
Never
the
knew
show.
You never knew he was the mayor of Cincinnati?
I never knew that. Listen,
Wow,
I didn't
you learning stuff on this show, bro.
Let me tell you, I didn't know. No, I knew that now. I mean, I didn't know it back then.
Oh, okay. I knew
Also,
it back then.
I did not know that he was an attorney. Never knew that.
Yeah.
You know, all the time
That's
that I was
bizarre.
seeing him instigating fights, I
Yes.
never knew he was an attorney.
He don't sound like a prosecutor to you. Some little snipply, snidely little.
That
I can
doesn't
totally
give
see
you a
him
right
as
to
a
go out and cheat on your pregnant wife, Malcolm.
And let's bring out Malcolm's brother.
Hey, he had the
I got something to tell you, Malcolm.
he had the plausible
I love you.
deniability. He had the plausible deniability with that. Take care of yourselves and each other.
Oh yeah, and the
line
last
at the end
word.
of every
The last word.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Take care of yourself.
The
and
last
each other.
word. Everything we saw today on the show was fucking bullshit.
Right.
Right.
What you should
It's
be doing.
unfortunate.
But you get this conversation. See, what I think Christians miss a lot is
What they
that
miss?
wedge issues are transactional,
Mhm.
right? So
What do you mean by that?
well, you do not get the right to, well, you get the right, I suppose, but you do not get to characterize an entire party by their stance on one issue, right? You can transactionally believe that abortion is wrong, but at the same time still hold that party accountable for the atrocities that they're fucking committing on 8 or 9 different issues. And what they do is they take that issue and they outweigh everything else and attach everything else to it, so that therefore you always have this get out of jail free card to be able to justify things like racism and voter suppression and everything like that, but it's black babies that are getting killed the most.
Yeah.
So
Racism okay, because we need those black babies here to be oppressing.
Right. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that we are in a situation where people take those issues and it's this abortion is just like healthcare. Let's be very, very honest here. In my opinion, and I think the Democratic Party has I won't say the winning strategy for healthcare because it can always be better, but has the more feasible plan for how healthcare should be run. And when I say that, same thing goes for abortion. It's not saying that we're just out here saying, like Oprah, you get an abortion, you get an abortion, you get an abortion. It's a situation in which if you need, I'm not going to laugh at you, son.
Well, no, that was well done. But that's what you think. Like they're always talking about, like when RBG died, they were like, the baby killer is dead. Like I don't believe she performed any abortions.
Right. Never. And it's like, it's as simple as saying it's just protecting your right. I saw, a matter of fact, when you were talking about the TikTok videos, there was a video of a young lady and her mother who was, well into her 70s or 80s. And the mother, it was 3 generations where the young lady said, the mom said to her mom, I had an abortion. The grandmother was like, no, I didn't know that. And she's like, Mom, what do you mean? You took me to go get it. Like, how can you be against this when you took me to go get it? And the grandmother has, completely wiped that out.
Blocked it out. Right.
Yeah, just totally blocked it out. Like, nope, that wasn't me. I don't remember.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, it's not a thing of just saying, hey, we're just going to go give it to everybody. We're just out here purposely, taking out all of the children. It's a thing to say, this is something that if you need it, and we hope that you don't, but if you do, it's here. It's here. It's something that you won't get persecuted for. You have situations where you have people being attacked by loved ones or being attacked by people out in the streets. And now you're telling them you're going to have to take this baby to full term. You're in a situation where you already have people who say, I can't afford to take care of a little person. And then we say, oh, well, go put them in the foster care system. Go put them in the system. But yet and still, the people who say go put them in the system have never once went to the foster care office to go pick up a kid. They've never housed a child.
And they lobby for reduction of funding.
Exactly.
For things that would help a person who kept a child that they thought they couldn't afford.
Exactly.
So I always say they're pro-birth, not pro-life.
If you haven't adopted a kid, shut your fucking mouth.
I agree. I agree.
No one's really interested in the worst Monday morning quarterbacking ever to happen ever. Like that's all that is. And aside from it being like a medical thing, it is such a woman's choice. Yeah. It is such a woman's choice that whenever a guy tries to tell a girl about something, I almost go ballistic. I'm like, shut up. No one has ever asked you about your fucking ball sack. No one has asked you because no one cares. And now people care about a body part on a woman, but they don't care about you. And you feel like you need to implant yourself for some reason into this conversation. Shut up.
Then those same people say my body, my choice when it comes to wearing a mask or getting a vaccine.
Right. But what's worse though is so if a woman sleeps with a guy and the guy says, I had a vasectomy or I have a condom on or what or whatever, like bites a hole in the condom or breaks through it naturally or whatever.
Hey, the slip off game is rampant out in them streets.
Right. So like if a woman,
like, you know what I'm talking about.
Haas is a tried and true expert at it apparently.
Oh no, I don't do the slip off game because I've
been down that road before.
Kids. No. I put a seatbelt on that motherfucker if I could. Excuse my
but the paradox though is that if a woman can say, do you have protection? And then the guy says, yeah. Oh, I put, then they slip it off, or the guy had it in his wallet and it got punctured and he didn't know, or he lied about having a vasectomy, or the doctor did it wrong, or one of the million types of things that could
if she's got
go wrong.
Control, if she's on the pill, but she had
or if she's
antibiotics, because antibiotics is disruptive.
And then they say, well, personal responsibility, but it's literally she had nothing to do. But they never say to the guy, oh, he should have been more responsible. Mm-hmm. They always say it to the woman. Right. The woman should have been more responsible. Like they're supposed to go in and fact check every single rubber in that guy's pocket. Well, then just don't be a whore. Like, okay, but the focus is always on the woman. And believe me, I was guilty of this for many years too, because I was like, well, I do think that
Uh-oh, here we go.
I do think that men should be that a woman and a man in a relationship, that the man should at least have the right to have the conversation with the woman. But outside of that, it really has no, because if the woman and the man are in a relationship, the man should be able to have a conversation with the woman. That's what a relationship is about. But ultimately, it comes down to her choice.
Well,
Simple.
you know, and I know Haas has a flag on the plate here, but I will say,
ooh, we should get challenge flags. Can we get challenge flags? Can that be our thing?
That would be.
They got to be the mini blow up guys. So you turn it on.
Crown Royal bottle bags.
Yeah, that'll work. That'll definitely work. That'll definitely work.
You are the Midwest Shannon Sharp. I will say it for the rest of my days. The Midwest.
We love it. Gotta love it. But you're right. It's a conversation that should be had. And, you know, I'm a firm believer in let's have the conversation. You know, even if you and your mate or your spouse or you know, the partner, what is that? Are those someone's drawers?
No, that's my do-rag.
Oh, okay.
You got the Crown Royal bag. I'm gonna have a do-rag, and then
it doubles as a pair of drawers.
Okay,
good. You just wacky wave inflatable too.
It's one of those new hybrid pieces of cloth. You can use it as a face mask, as a pair of drawers, or as a Crown Royal bag, whichever one you want.
I hope they wash it in between uses, of course.
No,
that costs money.
Luck out. You wash the luck out.
You got to keep the nutrients in there to keep them waves right.
That makes a lot of sense.
The juices and berries.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I feel you. I'm with you.
He said juices and berries.
I think of it like this though. If you're in a relationship with a person and the I am of the mindset that that's a conversation you have once you become serious. But sometimes you're in relationships and the relationship is new. You know, you're going there, you're using protection, the protection fails. The conversation should be from the guy, you know, hey, if you want to keep this baby, I am there with you. I will help take care of the baby no matter what, whether we make it or not. But if you decide that you don't want to keep this child, then that is your decision to make, not a conversation in the way of, well, I want it. So I think the type of conversation, and I'm not saying, Dutch, that you were leading it one way or the other. I'm just providing some nuance to what the conversation should be. It should be one of those types of conversations.
Yeah, but there's always, I mean, I think that you have the right to ask anyone to do anything. And they have the right to ask you, to tell you no.
Tell you fuck off. Yeah.
Right. So like I was in a situation before where I was with a woman who was a girlfriend of mine, and she got pregnant and she was like, I'm not going to keep the baby. And I'm like, I'm disappointed to hear that, because I didn't have any kids at the time and she already had two. So I understood the dynamic, but I was like, you know, I'm disappointed to hear that. I'm like, you know, I'm willing to take care of the baby. She was like, no, I'm good. That was the end of it. But she at least gave me the opportunity.
Yeah. I agree with that.
To say that. And that does not make me any lower character. And anybody who thinks that makes me a shitty character can go fuck themselves. So, you know, it's
there's the redeeming Dutch.
It's a simple question. But when people
just double down.
But then, well, the doubling down would come from this. If someone then carries that conversation forward and then tries to like Facebook shame someone, and I apologize. They put me I'm out of town again. And they put me in the furthest room closest to the fucking street. So you can hear every fucking motorcycle.
We didn't even hear that. We didn't hear that. Thanks for bringing.
Believe me, that shit is loud as fuck. Oh, I know that.
Noise canceling headphones are phenomenal.
I'm glad to hear they're working. But Mikey likes to trick me and tell me I have good audio when I don't. So then I have to fix it later because he's an evil
tell your story.
gremlin.
Tell your story. Why are you over here talking about me?
But there are people I have seen that there are people. No, I'm not. There are people I have seen who have had that conversation and then like outed the woman on like social media.
Well, that's
and like and that makes you
a despicable human being.
Yeah. Right. So, but anyway, Swede, why don't you give us one last question and then we'll find out where we can donate.
Skip my question, but it's cool.
Oh, you got one too then. I thought you already asked one. My bad.
No.
Go ahead.
No, you skipped me because you were yelling at me because you're mad at me for something, and I don't know what I did.
I'm mad at you for your yellow shirt, Captain
It's
Yellow
orange.
Shirt.
It's orange.
It's very orange. It's Dragon Ball Z, dude. Come
Looks like yellow to me, but I
That's
don't have my
orange.
glasses
That's
on.
orange juice, orange, dude. I mean,
It's Goku orange.
Oh yeah, I know y'all don't know that reference.
No, I know that song.
Oh, praise
Kissing
the
in
Lord.
Rain. Come on, of course. Silly rabbit tricks are for kids.
You
I'm
were
sorry.
holding
Taking
hand.
from you.
The
I'm sorry.
choreography in that video was amazing. Never be the same. Man, that video was great.
Yes.
Sweet, ask a question.
No, I'm asking a question.
Oh.
But real quick, y'all just reminded me. I showed several people that it's in our clips, I believe. I made a clip of me doing the what the hell's the name? The Peacemaker. I did the whole Peacemaker intro dance on screen, and y'all just sat there talking about your damn Borophyll the whole time. Didn't even react.
Yeah, I
Well,
watched
so
that. I watched that intro and
you're wrong. So I was talking to a couple of other podcasters. Total side note here. I'm like, we got to do it. Like, get like 4 or 5 other podcasts in it, and we all do like, a different part of it, and then we mash it all together. I am totally down for doing that, and I have a couple that are in. So, but anyway,
Yes.
Mikey, your question.
So, Mr. Butler, if I will, the good Reverend Dr. Mr. I'm on this like campaign of my own.
Okay.
I really want to tax the church. Will you help me in my campaign?
He said, "Not my church, young man."
I was not expecting
that
that.
smile was amazing.
You gonna pull? If a smile could kill.
No, let me
He was
tell
like
you.
this. He was like this motherfucker here.
Let me tell you. No, I was not expecting that question. I really was not expecting that question. Do you want me to answer that for real? Because I actually do have an opinion on that.
Yes. Like I did it with a lot of humor in there, but yeah,
we ask it everybody, all of our candidates.
Great. As soon as you cross a few lines, when you veer over too deep into the politics, when you veer over too deep into the cesspool of ideology, when when you're not actually doing the things that a church is meant to do. So when I say that, I mean, like, if you're not out here giving out food to the community, if you're not actually out here doing the actual charitable work, because that's the whole point of the 501c3 status, is to do charitable work. It's actually to do good in your community. So if you're not actually doing that, if you're just sitting up, having your services and, you're passing the plate around 6 times, you probably don't need a status, a 501c3 status.
I understand, because the building fund in many churches is always building.
It's always
the fund is building, but the church is not.
Church ain't going nowhere, But what I will say, my senior pastor, the Dr. Ellery Freeman, the Reverend Dr. Ellery Freeman, and myself, and all of our associate ministers and everything like that, we actually do good in the community. So under those guidance, we will keep our 501c3 status every week.
There you go. If you're doing the work, that's one thing. But if you locking the doors when the hurricane come and
man,
exactly.
Or buying that 4th jet, Kenneth Copeland.
Hey, that he needed that jet to get his secretary to the
other jet needed company. The other jet needed company.
Look, the hangar I bought has 4 slots for planes. It's been empty for a long time.
You got 4 slots, you got to fill them.
What would you
good stewardship?
What would you say
stewardship of the hangar?
What would you say to the idea that we have talked about on this show before, where we have a certain threshold? I don't know what that would be. $250,000 sounds fair to me, and everything over that is taxed for a church.
That's reasonable. That is actually really reasonable, because on average, most churches do not bring in $250,000 a year. On average, most churches might tap out at $100,000, and that really depends on your church. But 250, 250 is kind of veering over into that more, questionable lane. And you do have a problem because now one thing I will say, the church is a business. And a lot of people don't understand that the church itself is a business. It's unfortunate that it is a business, but it is a business because, we do have to pay this rent. We do have to pay these lights. We do have to pay this gas. We got to keep gas in the church bus. We got to make sure that we can afford to take the Meals on Wheels to Mother Jones. So there are expenses that must
oil
be
changes.
Oil changes, yes.
The bass player, he need a new set of strings. That's right.
He does. A lot of people don't understand how expensive those little communion cups are. They really do get expensive. So there are things.
Got to get a dishwasher.
No, just share a cup, man. Hey, y'all need to bring y'all own
cup. Pass it down like the 40.
Yo, see, when pastors have that one glass and everybody just come over and take a sip. No, we don't do that.
Pass that COVID cup.
Oh
man, you guys serving Mad Dog 2020 for
Well, now that you mention it, yes.
No, that's what we use.
We love this church. Yo, they got
the Peach Crown Royal. Yeah, no, that would be the one.
Hey, I be in communion every Sunday.
That's right.
We gotta do this every Sunday, not once a month. What are we doing this once a month for?
That's right. And think about it, just like they're talking about Ash Wednesday, you already have the Ash window with the cigars. So that's
right.
Wednesday. Ready. So Crown Peach on Sundays. You got cigars on Wednesdays.
That's right.
Ash Wednesday.
Ash Wednesday.
Hey, that's a way to save money on the ash. You just collect
it.
And on Fridays, that's when we take up for the building fund because we do need new light bulbs and new doorknobs.
Right.
And of course, Pastor need a new Cadillac.
Yes,
but the 250, I think, is reasonable. With some spinners, yes, some cross spinners,
some cross spinners.
It's
straight up.
I'm going to hell.
Ain't no reason to have the Cadillac if you don't have the panoramic moonroof. You want to look at God while you
got to get out and go like this.
That's right.
Look at what God has done. Look at this moonroof.
God
did this.
Hey, real quick before we let Swede ask his question, I'm going to preface something. So I mentioned before we do a lot of history on this show. I bought a textbook. Yes, I bought a church, and a zoo. I bought a textbook called America, Land I Love.
Okay.
Ooh,
that's
a good book.
It is the most it's written from a Christian perspective, and I'm going to start using it in our weekly digs very frequently. This is the type of book that says slavery was about states' rights and that Columbus was ordained by God, and like all of this literal history that they are teaching to kids. And this textbook is from the 90s. And is still used today in a lot of Christian schools.
The slaves are happy.
And it did say that. And I got the teacher's edition. So it gives you all of don't forget to tell your kids that Black people are lazy and that's why they're poor. It probably doesn't say that, but not in those words.
They meant it though.
But Republicans are great at plausible deniability. We know this for sure. But anyway, so look forward to that. Swede, you have the last political question for the good candidate.
2 questions. Is there any better name for a televangelist than Creflo Dollar? Number one.
He can't talk about one of his colleagues like that.
You can't talk about one. That's hard.
Stop. On a serious note, I would say the biggest challenge that you're going to face getting anything done is the money in politics.
Right.
I would spend money if I could to get you elected if you would introduce bills that put the same regulation on government servants that I have working in the finance industry. I have to report all my trades. I have to report my wife's trades. I have to report my parents' trades. I have to report every dollar wherever it comes from. And if anything looks fishy, I get audited.
Yes.
these things that I hear, like Lauren Boebert's husband got $1 million a year contract to be an energy consultant for someone. Well, I know exactly how that happens and why that happens. They're buying her.
They're buying her. Yeah.
So it's not really a question. It's a please introduce a bill and make people put their money where their mouth is on this whole either campaign and finance reform or ethics, because it's disgusting how Manchin can't get anything done because he's beholden to his coal masters. Boebert's beholden to her oil masters. These people serve basically the aristocracy anymore today than any of us. And I work for an investment bank, and even we complain that a lot of the things that we have to go through, why aren't politicians having to go through? Right. So I would say get in there and introduce a bill that says every SEC regulation that applies to the finance industry now applies to Congress.
I agree. And I'm gonna tell you like this. Someone actually asked me a couple of weeks ago, if you could sit on any committee, what would it be? And, I think they were expecting me to say some real fun committee. But for me, I actually would say ethics, because I think, and this is, I don't think I know, people are taking advantage of the system, taking advantage of the loopholes. People are not reporting things. And honestly, there is too much money in our politics. Let me just say, in running this race, over the past 3 weeks, we've had to break down, okay, how much money do we expect that it's going to take to win over this race? And we're talking about upwards to over $500,000 just to win this race. Mind you, we're nowhere close to that. So if any of you have 100,000 just laying around that you'd like to spare, please do pass it along. But there's too much money in politics, and especially when you have a situation in which your representatives who are supposed to vote for you, they're supposed to represent you, you are their employer, are now beholden to other folks who are actively working against you. We're in a situation where the masses of people want common sense gun reform, but because a lot of politicians are beholden to the NRA and the gun lobbyists, it doesn't happen. We want, changes in our Medicare and Medicaid system, but because we are beholden to, the prescription lobbyists, we don't get it. We are, we want so many things that should be common sense, we shouldn't have to worry about, things that could have been done. But because of the corruption that is infused into our politics, because, these jackwagons just don't give a darn. And yes, I did say jackwagons and I did say darn. Because we get in a situation where they abuse the system and the people continue to lose and fall short because of the inability of our leaders to stand up and actually, do their freaking jobs.
One sneaky way to do this would be to introduce a bill that says nothing but a sitting member of Congress must act as a fiduciary towards their constituents.
Exactly.
And the fiduciary standard comes from the SEC definition of what a fiduciary is. You will find so much opposition, but people will have to attach their names to it.
Yeah, well, you got to understand. I mean, a lot of people, for one, who've ever even opened up a bank account for their kids or for, anyone else, they would know about what a fiduciary is, and they know you have to act on behalf of your payee.
In the best interest of.
In the best interest of. And it's sad that even has to be a discussion. It's sad that even has to be a bill, because if you are trying to represent people, that should be your main focus. That should be your big goal. That should be the only thing that you wake up every morning to do. How can I better serve my people? And unfortunately, you have a lot of representatives, including my own Representative Austin Scott, who just doesn't give a damn. And I threw in damn for you, Haas. Just doesn't give a damn, because of the simple fact that there is no type of real, I don't want to say watchdog, but there's no fire on him to make you give a damn, to make you, get up and do what's best in the best interest of your people. When you're able to just skate through, they just skate through.
And the last one is please make stock buybacks illegal again.
And it should be. And it should be. And I can honestly tell you,
because right now, the way the law is written, with the way the boards of directors have to act as fiduciaries to the stockholders, when they look at, say, we have $20 billion in cash on our coffers, they look at the buyback increasing shareholder value through, reducing the number of shares on the outflow, but investing in capital elsewhere. And they go, well, the ROI is best when we do a buyback, and it's a lot more, assured. We are violating our fiduciary duty if we don't do a share buyback.
I'm gonna
they have to.
The one thing that I really think is going to be pivotal for us to succeed. And I'm going to be totally honest with you. I'm not the best person. I worked in finance, but nowhere near as in depth as you did. So I'm a little bit shaky on the subject. But the one thing that I will tell you is just infusing good old common sense when you have these corporations and these large companies doing the stock buybacks, getting that money and just to try to stick it to the little guy who might not be able to afford. Now, once the stock goes sky high, you have a situation in which now it's not accessible. You have a situation in which now these millionaires, billionaires, and trillionaires, which I know that's not actual, gazillionaires or whatever the commercial says. Gagillionaires, yes, whatever. You have a situation in which they are continuing to grow their wealth on the backs of everybody else, preventing other people from getting there. That's why, honestly, I was really excited with the whole GameStop situation. I was upset about how that went down, but I think it's great when people do take the opportunity to get in there and force these companies to play fair. And when companies don't play fair, it's up to us to either hold them accountable or force their hand to play fair. And I think as legislatures, we have to do a better job of evening the playing field and making sure that these bad actors do not continue to go forward and just throw, caution to the wind.
Yeah. And I would be careful to say that the GameStop situation with the hedge fund was a good thing, because a sizable portion of the money invested with them was a firefighter's pension fund.
Yeah, well,
so we're all laughing at a quote unquote hedge fund going down. Well, I don't think a lot of people realize whose money that is.
True. And that is where, it's great that you brought that up, because that is something, a piece of the puzzle that myself included, was overlooked. And I think, but that's where the unfortunate part of when you have a system that is broken, that is continued to allow to be broken, and then people find a way to then fix the system, and it then ends up adversely affecting another group who needs that type of help. That is why it's our responsibility to fix the system, to ensure that it's fair across the board, so that way you don't have a situation where now, okay, you have the firefighters funds being taken advantage of. You have a situation in which now the police fund, which I know a lot of people don't want to talk about policing, but I really don't care. Because I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Just take the police out and say teachers. The teachers,
but
their pension.
Yeah,
the teachers. It's a lot easier.
I'll throw the police in there too, because I don't give a damn. At the end of the day, we cannot keep hurting public officials. And that's why, for one, we do have to fully fund schools. That's why, for one, we do have to fully, better invest in our police officers. I don't care who I make mad. And we have to make sure that we take care of our first responders, all the way from EMTs to firefighters to police officers to, Miss Mildred on the side of the corner who's coming to give CPR to everybody. We've got to take care of these first responders. And that's the only way that we are going to succeed. But to get back to the financial aspect of it, we have to end and close all of these loopholes that a lot of these organizations and these large, billion-dollar industries are using to expand their wealth, to continue to grow their wealth and their footprint on the backs of everyday Americans.
I would say a lot of them do it because they're forced into due to what the responsibilities of the board and the decision making is. It's not very well known amongst people that the system works in such a way where it's institutionalized. Why they do what they do. And I think people are thinking, well, it's just greed. Well, no, it isn't just greed. It's because they are set to enforce a system that makes them do the things that we all find abhorrent.
Right.
Well, they have to, otherwise the shareholders could sue them and put them in the poorhouse. Well, that would be, funny, but except for the fact that the next people that walk in don't want to end up like the previous people. So they do what is best for the shareholder, which definitely is not always good for the employee. And in most times is counterfactual to the employee desires and helpful for them because, union busting is good for shareholder value.
Right.
If you think about all the things that are good for shareholders, then the problem is who are the shareholders? Well, a lot of them are charities, pension funds. So the system itself is so ingrained in how things are doing that if you shut the system down, you hurt a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, and
so
that's
how do you unwind it? And that's something for politicians to figure out. But also those of us in finance need to help you guys and help you guys understand just how ingrained the system is in doing what we have to do. It's preordained, the decisions that are made.
Okay. I think that's why it's so important that people outside of the political world are advisors when it comes to crafting policy. I think that's why it's so important that you have people from different walks of life and different ideas to come and kind of have that seat at the table to break things down. It's really, in my mind, very unrealistic when we sit around and we look at our politicians or people of means and just imagine that they have all of the answers. Just imagine that, they just ornately are going to come in and know everything about everything. And that's why it's important that there are people like you and there are other people who actually, one, hold folks accountable to keeping their word to what they say, and two, to come in and educate them in things that they might not know, to educate them in things that they otherwise have never thought of. How many people actually look at, who the shareholders are for these large companies or corporations when, with these different, IPOs and things like that. That's something that a lot of people don't think of. They just see the corporation itself, but don't see, who's behind it, who is it funding. And I think that's why it's important that these types of conversations are had, and why it's important that, we continue to just, one, have that good old common sense involved, and two, make sure that everybody has a seat at the table so that their voice can be heard, because everybody is an expert in something. And I guarantee most of our politicians are not experts in a lot of things.
Well, tell us how, speaking of money, tell us how people can give you money.
I'm going to tell you like this. Go to the website, butlerforgeorgia.com. You spell that all out, butlerforgeorgia.com. Click on the big red and yellow buttons that say donate or make a contribution and drop a donation. I'm going to tell you like this. Unfortunately, there is too much money in politics, but until enough good people get in to change that rule, we need some money. We do need your contributions. So please, please, please go to the website, butlerforgeorgia.com, and give anything that you can.
As long as you're a U.S. citizen.
As long as you are a U.S. citizen. Please, no Russian oligarchs. We cannot accept.
That's the other way we're going to tank your campaign. I got some Canadian friends. I'm like, so what I want you guys to do is send $10 to this guy. It'll ruin his career because I'm going to blow the whistle and expose him.
Hilarious.
Expose him.
And you know what the crazy thing about that is that I don't think when you use the contribution sites, I don't think there's a spot for
right, selecting your country.
Yeah, I don't think there's that spot there for. So you can go for it. Won't work, my friend. I don't think it'll work.
Well, that's why Marco Rubio took what $1.5 million from Russian oligarchs, and nobody calls him out on that bullshit.
Right.
So
That's right.
all right. Well, thank you very much, Reverend. And
Yes.
so go and support his campaign.
Do it.
We will be back in about, I don't know, 30 or 40 seconds. Actually, you know what? I totally forgot. Mikey, why don't you tell the people where they can support this show? I almost neglected to say that. Sorry, Mikey. I took your time away from you.
That's kind of your thing. So, hi, guys. It's me. I know I've been a little rough on you. Come here, Zero. Come here. Come bark into this microphone. You always want to interrupt something.
Is the dog named Zero? I love it.
Yeah, his name's Zero.
He named him after me.
Oh,
He's barking at rabbits in the backyard. Get over here, little man. Come here. You're getting on camera. Come on. You ruined my show. You get your ass up here. Come on. So look at that. Come here.
I love it. While we're waiting for him to get Zero, can I just also point out, because I have to do the background thing, Swede, I'm loving Waldorf. I think that's his name, Waldorf and in the back. I love that.
Yep, Waldorf and Statler.
Yep, Waldorf and Statler. Because they pointed it out earlier that I'm pointing out people's backgrounds.
So this is Zero, guys. He is a 4.5-year-old Shih Tzu Maltese.
Oh.
And until this Patreon gets up a little bit higher, I will not tell him he's a good boy. I will not buy new toys. I will not buy new balls. He gets nothing. He's just getting food, water, and some newspaper. That's all he's getting until you guys go to patreon.com/digonamerica and help us hit our $100 goal so that we can start donating 1/3 of that to a bunch of the awesome charities that we have listed on our site. Again, that's patreon.com/digonamerica. And if you are a broke like me, you could always like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at DigOnAmerica and twitch.tv/DigOnAmerica and youtube.com/DigOnAmerica. So do that stuff, or else he is not going to be a good boy. I'll never tell him he's a good boy again. I'll just get the word out right out of my lexicon. I'll stop saying it forever.
Hey, side note there. Remember where I was talking about possibly feeding the hamster to the dogs?
Feeding the hamster to the dogs.
Yeah, I told when we talked about this last, I said I might accidentally drop the hamster in the dog cage. The hamster passed away the other day. You know why the hamster died?
Because we didn't have enough Patreon.
We didn't
support.
have enough Patreon money. So
Damn.
Jake literally passed away 2 days ago in his cage peacefully from no food or water for a year.
Damn, he made it a whole year.
And you know whose fault that is, listener? It's your fault.
It's gonna be. I'm sorry to have to guilt trip y'all, but
yeah. Well, the hamster did die, but obviously the rest of it was very true. Anyway,
I have a service for you. I'll come and do a service.
You're going to eulogize Jake?
Eulogize the hamster. Yeah.
But they couldn't even. They have to eat that hamster for dinner. That's how bad it is over here for us.
Yeah,
we have to eat our dead pets.
Please, sir, can I have some more?
We're just asking for a little bit. I know you got your tax refund. You son of a bitch. You got a little bit.
Hey, Pastor, if you would leave us, and obviously you said you're going to stand for the second half of the show. That's great. And we'd love to have you. But leave us with your most politically relevant Bible verse that you can think of off the top of your head.
Ooh. So no, not Jesus wept, not yet. The most one, I'm gonna tell you, this one is I've been using it a lot lately, so that's why it's right here on the top of my head. Titus 2, I want to say it's like verse 11. I want to say it's verse 11, but it talks about a pattern of good work. And the premise of that, when you start from verse 1 all the way down, it talks about, the making of a man, what a man should do. A man should be sober-minded. A man should be, independent. A man should be this. And then it also tells about the women, how they should be, how women are supposed to be. But at the end of it, it says a man should always have a pattern of good work. And I think that is what politics is all about. You have to have a pattern of good work before you can agree to just be in the fold of political life. You've got to have that pattern of good work.
Let me just one more quick thing.
Okay. Said something about being sober. I just trying to make a little something.
Some Bacardi. Yeah, we'll use that in the second half.
The
yes.
Let me read a verse to you. Okay.
Let me read a verse to you, son.
I want you to tell me who you're thinking, and this is something that you probably already know, but helpful, I think, when conversing with the folks in a lot of these evangelicals. 2 Timothy 3:1-9. But understand this: in the last days there will come times of difficulty, for people will be lovers of self, lovers of money, proud, arrogant, abusive, disobedient to parents, ungrateful, unholy, heartless, unappeasable, slanderous, without self-control, brutal, not loving good, treacherous, reckless, swollen with conceit, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, having the appearance,
sexual,
having the appearance of godliness, yet denying its power. Avoid such people. Who on earth does that sound like?
Oh no, you said swollen with something. I'm like, ooh, what is this talking about? What you got, the Ron Jeremy version?
It definitely sounds like some leaders who have led various parties throughout the decade. And mind you, this decade just started a couple of years ago.
So without saying it, we're saying it reminds us of Donald Trump. Anyway, there we go, guys. We'll see you in 30 seconds.
Oh yeah, not if I see you first, jive turkey.
Yeah.